This episode wasn't that much. Hi, cutie pies. I am Lanikia, and you're watching What Happened on the Soaps. This is Days of Our Lives edition. Today is Thursday. Is it Thursday? Yes, Thursday, December the 21st, 2023. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to be generous and give it a 5. It really wasn't even that to me. It was more like a 4, but I'm going to give it a 5. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And let's go ahead and get into this. I am not going to hold you long because honestly, there was not much to this episode. We see John and Steve meet up outside of the pub, and he updates him and tells him that Shane, the ISA, Andrew Shane, they weren't able to get any information off that photograph, so they don't know who did it. So they're back to square one. But the good thing is Constantine is leaving Maggie alone. He's leaving town, so they're happy about that, so they're not really worried about it. So we go inside. It's Marlena, it's Kate, Kayla, Roman, John, Steve, and they're all reminiscing. First of all, Marlena, Kayla, and Kate were talking before the men got there, and they're gonna get 3 little angel tattoos. Let's move on. So then they're all reminiscing and they're celebrating that they're all there and enjoying another year in Salem. And they want to make this a tradition where they all get together and just enjoy each other, right? So then we see where um, they they start reminiscing, and so they start having a lot of flashbacks about, you know, they start having a lot of flashbacks. Steve has some, John has them, Roman, Kate. They just have flashbacks and how grateful they are now to be here compared to where they were when they were on. They didn't know who they were. They were on death's door. And that's pretty much it, y'all. I'm not going to hold you long. But, anyways, Roman ends up leaving and coming back, and he says, he informs them that Constantine is actually going with Maggie to the Horton Christmas celebration that they do. And so John and Steve looking at each other like, "Oh my gosh, we thought we were over him." And John just has this uneasy feeling about, Constantine and everything that's going on. Y'all tell me, I'm gonna be honest with you. I skipped through them flashbacks. So if there was something that went on and y'all like, girl, you should have watched it because this happened and you needed to know that for future episodes, just drop it in the comments because I, I just didn't enjoy this episode today. So then we go and we see Holly is with Johnny and she's super depressed because it's her birthday. And nobody remembered. Everybody's gone. And so Johnny was like, "Oh my gosh, I hate that." And so he's celebrating with her. He's got a little cake and everything for her. So they're gonna celebrate her birthday, which is right up right up Holly's alley. Now, Holly gonna tell Johnny, little Miss Fast thing gonna tell Johnny, and I know, like, girl, you shouldn't be called. No, this girl said the legal age of consent is 17. I said, girl, if you don't sit in the corner somewhere and read a book, no. And Johnny said, I as your brother, I'm not gonna ask you why you know this information. Girl, what is wrong with you? Because she was 16 and now she's 17. Girl, y'all, I cannot with Miss Holly. Let's move on. Let's move on because I was all kind of like, girl, that is just awkward, and I don't know, Days. I don't know about this storyline, but let's keep going. So she's they're talking and you could clearly tell this girl likes Johnny, but Johnny is so oblivious to it all. He's just looking at her as his little sister. And so he was like, why don't you hang out with Tate? And she tells him, that he broke up with her and then her mom's having a hard time, so that's why Johnny is really celebrating her birthday with her. And then he gets a phone call from Chanel. Now Chanel had been with Paulina. They had went did a little shopping and everything, and Paulina still wasn't feeling well, and she actually started coughing. And she said, "Let me just sit down." So she sits down, and Chanel says, "Let me get you something to drink." And so she's drinking her water and everything. And then Chanel is like, "Mama, your cough is getting worse." She said, "It's gonna be a fine." And she said, "Uncle," I think that she said her uncle had a cough and it ended up being lung cancer. And Paulina said, well, this isn't that. And then she moves her hair and Chanel said, is that a lump in your neck? And Paulina apparently has been had this and said, it's okay, it's okay. It's just a swollen lymph node. And Chanel was like, mama, you mama, you are going to the hospital. You know I don't play about you. So she finally ends up taking her to the hospital and they're waiting in the waiting area for a room. And so that's when Chanel calls Johnny and lets him know what's going on. And he's like, I'm coming over. And she was like, no. And he was like, no, I'm coming over. So he ends up going over to um to the hospital and he has to leave Holly, which Holly's all upset about him leaving her or whatever. But I mean, that's his girlfriend and he had to do what he had to do. So he leaves her, and goes over to spend time with Chanel. Now while he's gone, Holly is up in here drinking, because they show a clip where Johnny had put some scotch in whatever they were drinking together, and she had asked for some, and he said, "No, girl, you're too young. In about 5 years, you can get some." And so now she's alone. Nobody's in the house. Nobody watches this child. So she's drinking the scotch. Um, and she gets drunk. So she starts thinking about, I love Johnny and he left me for Chanel. So she gonna text him. And then she said, no, I'm not gonna text this man. And so then she calls him. Now Johnny at this point has made it over to Chanel and Paulina at the hospital. And Paulina was like, what, Johnny, what you doing here? And Chanel said, I canceled my plans. And she said, no, y'all go home. And he said, no, there's nobody there anyways. Because she told him, spend Christmas Eve with your family. He said, no, there's nobody there anyways. So he said, but I know a way I can help you. So he leaves, he comes back, and he used his Demira name to get her a room at the hospital. So you turned on my computer. Hold on, y'all. So where was I? So Holly is getting drunk. So now she's drunk texting Johnny, but she doesn't send them, but she lets her feelings out. Then she says, no, I can't do that. So then she calls Johnny. Now Johnny is at the hospital. I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself. That threw me off. So Johnny is at the hospital. He gets Paulina a room. So she's in the back getting a room. And they thank Johnny for it and everything. And so then Johnny's talking to Chanel about his eye and how he was in the hospital messed up. So they're just talking, right? So the next thing we know, we see Johnny and Chanel are having a nice little moment together, and Holly calls. And she's clearly drunk, and she's telling Johnny, "You don't care about me. Nobody cares. It's my birthday, and nobody cared." And he was like, "Holly, have you been drinking?" She said, "Yes." And so she gets all upset with him, and she lets him have it. And then she hangs up the phone, but not before she breaks a glass. And he's like, "Don't touch it. Let Harold touch it." And she was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do that." And so then she gets off the phone, and Chanel was like, "Is that Holly? Is she okay?" And he was like, "Sounds like she's been drinking." And she was like, "Go to Holly." He was like, "It's her birthday, and I don't think she really wants to see me because I ditched her to come here." And she was like, "Johnny, everything, they're at the hospital. There's nothing he could do." So she was like, "Just go to Holly, and everything will be fine." And so he agrees. And so he leaves and he goes to Holly, and she's there darn near passed out drunk on the couch, and he takes care of her. And that's it with them, y'all. And then we see Chanel talks to Paulina, and she's telling her she wants to cancel their Christmas stuff and call. And Paulina says, "No, don't do that." And she said, "Well, we could call Abe and tell him what's going on." And Paulina was like, "No, I am determined to spend this Christmas with Abe. You know I'm stubborn. So don't let him know anything is going on, because I'm going to get out of this hospital and we're going to spend Christmas together." And that was it, y'all. That was Days of Our Lives. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you tomorrow for a new episode of What Happened on the Soaps, Days of Our Lives edition. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.